So this is our first lesson for our new topic, which is the war against Hannibal, Rome's war against Hannibal. We look at Carthage, which is the mother city of this great general Hannibal. It's the big early rival to Rome in ancient history in the Mediterranean, Carthage. So we're going to learn about this Phoenician city. Phoenicians, you've heard that word before, the Greeks and the Persians, Phoenicia. To understand its government, how it was run, who was in charge, and develop some evidence assessment skills. We're going to look at, in particular, the fact that we have a real problem when it comes to studying Carthage. There's not enough evidence because the Romans destroyed it all when they won this war. Keywords: Tyre, it's a city in Phoenicia. Sidon, another city in Phoenicia. Dido, Elissa, two different versions of the same name of a legendary queen of Carthage. Legend, hide, hide as in the skin of an animal, leather, hide. Punic, it's the Latin word, the Roman word for people from Carthage, they're Punics. Maritimes, of the sea, merchants, selling, traders, harbour, could be spelled with an O or a U, it depends on which software you're using, the right spelling, somewhere where you park your ship. Military, republic, a system of government with no king or queens, republic. A suffect, it's an elected official in Carthage, like a consul in Rome. Conquest, citizens, mercenary, somebody who fights money. Quinquereme, remember triremes? Quinquereme is a different sort of ancient warship. Quin means 5, tri means 3, as a clue. Right, let's crack on. Origins. So, there are, like for a lot of ancient cities, there are myths. Like Rome has the myth of Romulus and Remus, led by a she-wolf. In the case of Carthage, there's a big myth around Queen Dido or Elissa, who founded this colony to escape her evil brother. This is probably not true. There's a story that when Dido or Elissa, when she wanted to start the city up, the local tribes wanted to destroy her. And she made a deal with them. She said, look, I'll have enough land as the hide of a cow. Oh, that's how much land I'll have off you, said fine. So they gave her a hide of a cow, which she then cut into strips, laid out the strips over a wide area, covering several miles, and that's the city of Carthage. Now, these stories are almost certainly not true. In fact, Carthage was just started by Phoenicians from the city of Tyre, or possibly Sidon, most likely Tyre. So see here, the Mediterranean. It is Greece, Persia here. Here's Phoenicia. Tyre is around about here. They are great traders, as we talked about before, great sailors. So they set up cities all the way along the coasts. Yeah, so in Sicily, southern France, Spain, North Africa, and Carthage is one of the, it's a trading post. One of the cities the Carthaginians, so the Phoenicians set up. So at first, Carthage is simply a city ruled from Tyre. Then, if you remember, the Persians conquered Phoenicia. And after that point, around about sort of 500 BC, Carthage became its own place. It ran itself, and it actually started its own empire. You can see it here in red. The most famous feature of ancient Carthage, it's in your book, it's on page 4, is the famous harbour, or the dual harbour. There's a couple of pictures of it here. Carthage famously had 2 harbours. This rectangular one here is for commercial shipping, trading ships. This circular one here is the military harbour. Top secret, a chain across it, so a ship couldn't set. It's a chain just below the waterline. They control that, so to stop you getting in or out. And in these little booths here, on the side, is where they berth their warships. So Carthage has a strong military power at sea. This double harbour is the most famous feature of ancient Carthage. So, what's the economy of Carthage? They are traders. They are merchants. They travel in their training, selling things, buying things, and they travel not in those oared warships. Ships like this, sails, yeah? And they had thousands of these ships traveling around the Mediterranean, buying and selling, and the money coming back to Carthage. That was how they made their money. They were traders. How is Carthage run? In the ancient stories, it was of course a kingdom. It was run by Queen Dido or Alyssa. But by the time we're talking about, Carthage is a republic. There's no king or queen. There's a government system. It's on page 5 in your book. They have a senate of about 300 people, a council of 30, and the senate elects 2 suffets every year to actually have executive power. So that's how Carthage works. Don't be confused and thinking it's a proper democracy. You had to be rich to vote in these elections. So it's a cross between an oligarchy and a democracy. So Carthage carved itself out a very large empire. To protect its trading routes, to protect its trade, Carthage conquered quite a large empire, all in red here. And to conquer this empire, to control the sea, they needed warships. And that's what they were good at first. And they invented a ship referred to as the Queen. Queen. 5. Now, I can't tell you for certain this is what a Queen Kareem was. They don't survive. We don't know. We know they're called that. Some people think the Queen means there were 5 oars. But that seems unlikely. That wouldn't work. It's more likely, people think, that there were still 3 oars, but there were more oarsmen. So the bottom rank, 1 guy. The middle one, 2. Top one, 2. Makes you 5, hence Queen. So they're larger than triremes. Still used for ramming, but also lots of boarding fighting as well, lots of marines on board. And this diagram up here, actually, is a very good example. We're not entirely certain how it all worked. As you can see here, right at the top, these diagrams, we're not quite sure. So it's a bireme, trireme, quadreme, quinreme. More and more oarsmen. We're not quite sure how it all worked. We're pretty certain there was always 3 oars, or usually 3 oars. So using these ships, the Carthaginians controlled this very large empire based around trade. But army. Now, Carthage had to have an army. Now, in the early part of its history, Carthage had an army the same as everybody else. They had citizens from Carthage. Then they had several disasters doing this. Battle of Crimenos, earlier Himera, where the Carthaginian army was wiped out, and they're citizens of Carthage. So the Carthaginians went a different way. They changed their plan for how they have an army. They'd have Carthaginian officers, generals, but the actual soldiers they would hire. They hired some from their states in North Africa. They're called Libyo-Phoenicians. They hired others from Spain, Spanish horsemen. From local African tribes, they're called Numidians. These light cavalry here. It's about them more in future. Once they'd seen war elephants in action, they got their own of those. And from Europe, they'd hire crazy Celts. But importantly, it was extremely rare for Carthaginians to actually fight as soldiers in a war. They hired their soldiers.